Hey, this is HyperZone for the Super Nintendo, made by Hal, who you would probably know for the Kirby games. Hyper 1Z, like a janitor might wear. This is an early release game. I want to wait for it. I want to show you this really quick. I just want you to take note of the fact that the spaceship is green here, because that's going to be a little bit more important later. So we're just going to jump in. That's a pretty fun game. This was an early release title. So you can see this is the first stage, and I want you to notice that I don't have the green ship. It was a very early release title. We'll see if I can do this without talking, without wrecking. The Super Nintendo came out August 23rd, 1991, if memory serves me correctly. And this game was released September 1st or September 3rd. So it was pretty much released the very next week. So you can't say that technically it was a release title, but for all intents and purposes, it was a release title. It came out almost immediately. And it takes use of what they call the Mode 7 effect. And I could have the details of this wrong a little bit. I'm wrong about a lot of things. I get tongue-tied a lot. But Mode 7 was basically a math formula that was built into the actual graphics card or the graphics processor of the Super Nintendo itself that allowed you on one specific background layer to take a flat 2D image and rotate it. Not only spin it in a circle, but tilt it up and down. So that's what they've done here, is that this track and the image to my left or my right is a flat 2D image that the Mode 7 has laid down on its side. And that was really important because before, if developers wanted to do this type of thing, they had to write their own code. But now, since it was pretty much built into the system, not only did more developers have access to it, but it was really efficient, so you could do it with very minimal overhead. So that's why the game takes advantage of it. And as you can see, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. As you can see, it's basically just this sort of mindless little shooter. But because it was such an early title, it was really impressive. Now, I think that is why, and we're going to find out that Stage 1 here and Stage 3 were switched. In Japan, this stage that we're seeing now, the look of the stage and the enemies, were created for Stage 3, and that the Stage 3 level was put here in Stage 1. And because of that, we're going to see that this boss, who I'm going to kill really quickly, his color pattern, see, doesn't match the stage. And now this is a really easy stage, so I'm going to try to get all this crap out of the way. That's the end of it. And that's because that is the Stage 1 boss, but he's used on the wrong board. And I believe that they did it because this stage is more visually impressive and they wanted to make a better first impression. So I think Stage 1 is this, and Stage 3 is what it is because it looks... So this is Area 2. But like always, man, I got a lot to talk about this game. It's a fun game. I'll get into some strategies, but there's a lot of little interesting tidbits and stuff about it too that I want to get into. But we're going to have to do all of that in the next video. So as always, I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing. Good night. Welcome back to HyperZone for the Super Nintendo. This is Stage 2, the Blast Furnace, and this is one of my least favorite stages. I actually believe this stage to be a little bit more difficult than than even later stages. I was going to say the first, but nobody shoots. So this is the first thing. So right here, if you can line your car up perfectly on the edge of the map, you can just go right by all of these. And that's really helpful because they're kind of annoying to weave in and out of. Because of the forced perspective, it's kind of difficult to tell if you're past them or not. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die in this stage. This is a pretty short game. It's a pretty fun game. I got good at it pretty quick, probably within a week. And I'm a casual gamer, so that's good for me. So I kind of thought about delaying recording of it a little bit because I kind of thought that I wanted to be over there on the left, but that's okay. Because we're going to go here. Now these things, these blue things will fill up my energy. And if you break over them like I did, you can hit the one button to slow down. If you slow down too much, you start to lose a lot of your life. So you got to go fast in this game. A lot like Sonic the Hedgehog here. And those little blue things will give you energy. If you go off course, you lose a little bit of life. I haven't talked about the gameplay at all. But a common strategy is to slow down over the energy bar so you spend more time gaining health. And if you time it just right, you won't lose any energy from slowing down. You'll only gain energy for being on the health bar longer. A big strategy to this game is going to be this circle pattern that I'm doing here. Now these you cannot skip, so you just got to kind of try to wing it, and I'm not great at it, but that was okay. Again, we just want to weave up and down, so I can't focus long enough on what I was going to say. So this circle pattern is pretty good because not only do you get to kill the majority of the enemies this way, but if anybody shoots at you, they're more likely to miss because they're going to shoot where you were at and not where you were. And this circle pattern, it minimizes your area of any one point of being on the screen. Later enemies are going to come from behind, and going in the circle pattern is still good because there's really no way to know where they're going to pop up behind you, and this just increases your chances that you won't be there at the same time. You know, it's like a double randomizer. Not only do they have to choose a spot, but you have to also have timed it perfectly to end up in that spot. And it's not that it doesn't happen, it's just less likely. And we'll get to that when we get to it, though. This is the second stage boss. He's just a cool little worm, and we'll see if I can pause it here. So this is a good example of why you should go in a circle. That's a pretty good shot, I think. See, he's got a little face. It's kind of hard to tell, but he's got a little smile. He's sort of cute, really. Except for the fact that he's dangerous. But again, I just do this. His pattern is pretty predictable, so if you were a better player, you could probably match his pattern and then beat it. And that was a crazy, crazy stage 2, where I don't think I got out any coherent sentence or any fact at all. But that's stage 2, and we're going to go. So because I got 30,000 points, I got an extra life. Because I got an extra life, I'm going to upgrade my ship. And this is originally stage 1. And here's my ship, and I want you to notice that this is the green ship that I showed you in video 1, and I wanted to show that to you on purpose, to show you that stage 1 that we played was originally stage 3, as not only proven by the Japanese versus the American card, but even by the demo that plays on the title screen. But anyways, we're going to do stage 3 in the next video, so as always, I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing. Good night. Welcome back to HyperZone for the Super Nintendo. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the game because I kind of fumbled my way through it last time. The game is pretty simple like this. If you get hit, you slow down. If you go off the track, you slow down. That's really pretty much it. You can hit the brakes, okay, one button shoots. You can hit the brakes. If you slow down or you go too slow, you will lose more energy. So you can't ever really go that slow. Now there are my energy bars in the top left. I have a bar in the top right. So these are going to fill up my energy. I'm going to slow down over them so that I can get the most amount of energy. And you can do so by just sort of, you don't have to tap it quickly, but just hold down the brake button, release it, hold down the brake button. And you can kind of prolong how long you can brake. So my life is in the top left, and in the top right, you'll probably notice a little charge thing. And that is, I want to be in the middle here. Just that. Once you get your first upgraded ship, you can hold down the shoot button and you can get a charge shot. And I should be using it more than I am, like there, because it's good at killing large groups of enemies, especially if they're far away. Every extra life is going to earn me a ship upgrade, but I won't be able to utilize the new ship that I earned until the start of the next stage. The extra lives come at 30, 60, and then I think it's like 80, and then I'm not really sure, maybe 100, maybe 110. I don't know after that. You pretty much earn them. I try to earn an extra ship in the first stage. I've gotten to like 28,000 points. I know it's possible if you're a better player. I just haven't been good enough to do so. Otherwise, you're pretty much at some point going to just kind of earn an extra ship every stage, every other stage. There's 6 ships and 8 levels, so I believe you have plenty of time to earn the upgrade. The main strategy is to just kind of do this like circle pattern that I'm doing here, and dodge up and down. There's always an energy thing before the boss, and this is the boss. So as I pointed out in video 1, the boss's color scheme is going to be all wrong. So you'll notice that I'm in a very bland, like purple and green area, but my boss is like red and green and blue. That's actually because this is the button pad to the Super Nintendo or the Super Famicom controller, and it should have been in the flashing light stage where the floor was pretty much flashing Tetris pieces. And instead, this rainbow-colored boss is now sitting in a stage that is very bland because, again, this was supposed to be the map for Stage 1 and the boss for Stage 3. And there's a little tidbit. You just charge him up and shoot him. He cannot be killed without a charge shot, so there's no way they could have moved the boss as well. And that's really it. If you just go in a circle pattern, you just kind of have to master like how far you can move to not go off the road. And the game becomes a lot easier. Not a difficult game, but a lot of fun. And this is Area 4. This is going to be the grassland. And because I got 60,000 points, I get a ship upgrade. And the ships start to look a lot cooler. But as always, we're going to have to do that in the next video. So as always, I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing. Good night. Welcome back to HyperZone for the Super Nintendo. This is the grassland, and I guess this is a good time to talk about the overall story and the design of the game. So there's no in-game story or anything to tell you what's happening, but if you read the instruction booklet, what has happened is that mankind has pretty much destroyed Earth with the, with our global warming and stuff. And this is way in the future. And we used to have a bunch of colonies like out in the asteroid belts and stuff, but we pretty much ruined them all. I think I want to be over here to the right. Some paths dead end, but really some paths are just easier with enemies. These little cool worm guys, if you just charge your shot and shoot them, I'm just doing all kinds of terrible, but you could pretty much get all the way through them like that. But the idea is that anyways, what happens is that now mutants have taken over all of our establishments that were all over the asteroid belt. So you leave from the capital city, which is now Stage 3, and you venture out into space and you go to different asteroids in the asteroid belt, killing all of the mutant aliens that have taken over to pave the way for mankind's advanced, our new home, basically. You just got to reclaim old civilizations. So it's kind of a weird story, you can't tell it, but what's really interesting about it, here you just want to get about this second place here and then just sort of sit in the middle and shoot. These plants are going to grow and try to stop you, but you'll be right here on even with the second post. And you'll kill a couple of these guys for points, these little fluff balls, but you'll be just high enough to shoot your way through most of the plants. There's only one you're going to have to avoid, and that's coming up right there. I didn't avoid it. Sometimes you get lucky and he grows the other way. I kind of forgot what I was saying, but what's really interesting about this is that all of these stage designs have been taken from the ending sequence to 2001: Space Odyssey. So if you've never seen the movie, the ending sequence is just pretty much an acid trip that doesn't really make much sense at all, but it's very visually cool looking. And the idea is that these stages, these different environments, these different asteroids, if you will, were designed or heavily inspired by the different trippy sequences in the end of 2001: Space Odyssey. Even the final boss, as we're going to see, is going to be heavily inspired by 2001. So for those that are familiar with the movie, you might be able to guess what kind of crazy ass thing we're going to see at the end. The rest of you, the rest of you are just going to be quite shocked, and even if you can guess, you're probably still going to kind of think to yourself, what the fuck? So again, circle pattern. Charge shots and then shoot the boss. I feel bad because I'm not talking about many of the boss fights. There's going to be a boss rush at the end, and I'll go through the strategy as to how to kill all of them at that point. But there's just so much I want to talk about this game that I'd like to get all of that out of the way. Nah, this should just about do it. You can shoot him with a regular blast. There we go. That's it. That's the grassland. Stage 4, halfway through the game. And I should have gotten another ship upgrade. I did. I like the little yellow guys working on my ship. This is my favorite looking ship. I wish I could keep this one all the way to the end. It's so cool looking. Look at how awesome that thing is. But as always, I'm going to do it in the next video. I know these videos are short, but I prefer to break them up by stages so that you can see just any particular stage at any one time. So until then, everybody, I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing. Good night. Welcome back to HyperZone for the Super Nintendo. This is stage, what am I on, 5? I don't know. This is the Ripple Zone, I believe. It's a shame I can't remember the name because this game was made by HAL, and HAL went on to make a lot of the Kirby's Dream Land games. If not all of them, because they actually made Kirby. I don't really know for sure. They very frequently would reference this game, although this game might not be that well known or popular. The Kirby games make a lot of references to the different areas. So you might recognize I believe it's called the Ripple Zone area. There's a Kirby stage that has a similar name, and that is done on purpose as a reference to this, because this game came out, like I was saying earlier, it came out September 1st or September 3rd. It came out pretty much just a few days after the Super Nintendo. So it's a really early game, and you know, it's really easy. It didn't take me long to beat it at all. And it won't you, but these were always my favorite types of games to actually own back in the 90s because they were good time killers. Like, this game's a lot of fun. You just pop it in, you play it, you kick a little ass for a while, and then, you know, you're done. You know, if you needed like 30 minutes to kill and you wanted to do something, you wanted to play a game, but you didn't want like something brutally difficult or challenging. You know, games like this were always good to have. I would have really liked it, and the Mode 7 effect that we see here was quite impressive. So one of the strategies that I'm not following, that I'm really fucking up on, and that's mainly because I'm focusing on the words that I'm saying, is every time you get a ship upgrade, not only can you charge your gun, but you can charge it faster. So in these little breaks between enemies, I should be charging my shots. Because in doing so, if you shoot a charged shot, you can kill a lot of enemies, especially if those enemies are in the distance. Anytime you go over an energy zone, it's best to use your brakes to slow down to maximize it. And we're already to the boss. And this boss is a lot like the Stage 2 boss, except he goes in the water, which is not a great effect, but that's what is supposed to be happening here. His pattern is pretty simple. He pretty much just crisscrosses across the stage. So a better player would go in the reverse directions and constantly kill him. I'm not that great at this game, although a part of me would like to. I almost thought about delaying the recording of this video by a week, just thinking to myself that, you know, in a week I'd be so much better at it. But hey man, I just want to beat as many games as I can, so I'm gonna get it out the way. But with a little practice, you could line yourself up and you could get a lot of hits in, like I just did there. And that's really the key to beating this game as fast as possible. Part of me wants to get into speedrunning, and I've considered that this might be a good speedrunning start, because little things like that can help. You know, good boss fights would increase my time drastically. Area 5 clear. And you might think, how can you speedrun an auto-scroller like this? But there are ways. If you get hit, you slow down. If you go off the track, you slow down. And you want to speed up your boss fight. So I would need to play a game where I never get hit, I never go off the track. And I'm quite efficient at killing the bosses. But that's it. This is, we're on to Stage 6. So we're going to do it in the next video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing. Good night. Welcome back to HyperZone for the Super Nintendo. This stage is kind of one of my favorites. A lot of the things that I'm shooting here are supposed to represent junk. They're like empty pipes or empty baskets and stuff. And this is really, oh, I hate these things. Okay, so one of the few problems with this way that the game is laid out, oh, I knew I wasn't going to make it, is that it's hard to tell where exactly the depth perception is, and those lasers hurt like hell. So if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die there a lot. There's another set of them, and luckily that's gonna be the end of it, because if this game had more of those lasers, I would be in for a hell of a time. And again, we're just gonna follow the basic strategy of weaving back and forth like this and slowing down over life pools to get as much of our energy back as we can. I should have been charging my gun. If you look really closely at those things, that is the HAL logo that is on that blue block. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but it is. It's supposed to be an italicized H with the 2 dots in the corner. Again, this is where charge shots would be coming in handy. It's difficult to follow through with your strategies and talk at the same time. It's costing me a bit of points, but points aren't such a big deal. I was saying in the last video that this might be a good title for start speedrunning, and that's because if you get hit, you slow down. If you go off the track, you slow down, and boss fights can eat up time. But also, when you get an extra life, you get a ship upgrade. And that ship upgrade animation also takes time. I knew that was going to happen. And this is the one stage that kicks my ass, mainly because of these lasers. I can just never really figure out where the fuck they're supposed to be height-wise. So a perfect speed run would be one in which you would manage your points correctly to get only the upgrades that you absolutely need, and then never getting hit and never driving off the track, and then having the most efficient boss fights. But it's such a simple game and you can play it in such a short amount of time that I'm not sure why you wouldn't. This boss is interesting because you can see that we're back in a city. This is like the old capital or like a metropolis or something. And stage 3 was the capital city. Now stage 3 was supposed to be stage 1, and you'll notice that this city's boss is an upgraded version of the boss that we fought in stage 1. So again, changing the level map around had a weird effect on the game. These subtle little differences that you might not otherwise notice. You can shoot him straight on, but really I like the charge shot. The idea is to blow up all of the things in the 4 corners and then just take care of him. I'm not sure if the charge shot is actually faster. Kind of feel like I'm doing more damage this way. We'll try it. But if you just spin in circles, you're almost always invincible. These are a lot of short videos. I almost feel bad. Area 6. Area 6 completed. This is one of my, I think this is a cool looking stage. And this is not the final ship upgrade, there is one more. So hopefully I get enough points to get it. But we'll find out, and we'll do it in the next video. So stick around, everybody. Until then, I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing. Good night. Welcome back to HyperZone for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. This is stage 6, stage 7, I can't remember. This is the Biozone. This is one of the easier stages in the game. One of the harder stages, I think, is stage 2. The game doesn't have a huge learning curve, but you'll struggle a little bit at first. It takes a little bit of time to kind of get a feeling of how wide the track is and how far you can go left and right, and also how to easily avoid the ammunition. These little brain things are weird, so I think as long as I don't shoot them, they'll stay dormant. But if I shoot them, they wake up and then they charge at you. Now I want as many points as I can get, so I'm just going to blast away. In between areas like this, it's best to use a charge shot. Using a charge shot can clear out a large amount of enemies. And then again, always slow down here. Especially if you get them all in a group like that. And every ship upgrade charges slightly faster, so you can use it more and more frequently. And I'm positive that I would be able to kill more enemies faster if I used my charge shot more efficiently. I just haven't mastered the skill of charging mid-battle. If you shoot right there as you're crossing, like in the right time, you can kill 2. I can kill that guy and the one in the background. I unfortunately wasn't able to do it this time on camera, but one charge shot can kill 2 of those worms. And there's my extra life, and that's really all I wanted. I want the ship upgrade just because it charges slightly faster. I have full life. This is a difficult portion that usually kicks my ass, so we'll see how I do. Every time I'm off the track, I lose life, and then you can see that it, I did okay there. I don't really have any strategy for that. Just avoid bullets and try to stay on as much of the blue things as you can. And that's really the end. I mean, these stages are short. Again, I'll go into more boss strategy in the next stage because it's a boss rush, but you can only hit this guy while he's moving, so a little bit of a pain. But we're gonna go otherwise. In reading about this game, researching it, I wanted to know a lot about it. I found a website. There is a person out there that has an actual webpage dedicated to this game. There is a legit HyperZone fan out there, and unfortunately I don't know his name offhand, but I want to give him a huge shout out because, well, first of all, I just admire his respect. He found HyperZone references in old Nintendo Power magazines. He's got instruction booklet scans. He's got box art. The kid, he knows everything about HyperZone. Somewhere out there in the world right now is a huge HyperZone fan, and he's got a killer website dedicated to it. And it taught me a lot about what I know about this game. And this is hopefully going to be it. Okay, maybe it's going to be this shot. But on that website are the background maps, except they're not laid down without the Mode 7 effect. So you can see this road texture and this flashing light texture as a flat 2D image, and they're very impressive. They're really cool looking. This one was one of my favorites, which is why I was mentioning his site. You can also download it, So this is it. This is the final area, HyperZone. You fight your way through the asteroid belt, kill all of the mutants, and then you make it to the HyperZone itself. And this is my fully upgraded ship, which, as you may have noticed, looks an awful lot like the ship I started with, just cooler, I guess. I wouldn't say this is a very cool looking ship, but there it is. But we are going to beat the game in the next video, and I will give you all of the strategies on all the bosses as I fight them, and we'll see the end. So until then, I hope you enjoyed watching. I enjoyed playing. Good night. Welcome back to HyperZone for the Super Nintendo. This is the final stage, the HyperZone itself, and this stage is nothing but a boss rush. So I didn't really give many tips or strategies while beating the bosses in my original video, so I'll try to do as much as I can here. Again, he's just going to zigzag back and forth and shoot the bullets. A lot of these bullets that he's firing at you, you can dodge by just going up and down. That was my early strategy. But the circle pattern I find to be the most effective. There's not going to be any energy refills in this stage, so I'm going to take the safest strat that I can because I'm not great at this game. Another couple of weeks of practice, I'd be a lot better, but I'd prefer to just move on. So I definitely want to play it safe here. But as you can see, he just sort of wiggles back and forth like this. So if you really line up your shots with his pattern, you can get a lot of shots in really, really quickly, and you can kill him a lot faster than what I'm doing here. Charge shots are also really good. I have trouble hitting those worm bosses with the charge shots, but we're going to use those more frequently. This boss is supposed to look like the Famicom controller. It's the X and the Y and the A and the B button. You can't shoot him with regular bullets. See, he's invulnerable to those, so you have to do the charge shots, at least until you've destroyed all of the colored buttons that circle. Once it's just the centerpiece, like now, you can just blast away. And he's harmless at this point, so just have fun killing him. This boss will shoot periodically. It will shoot more ammunition, more bullets at you, depending on how many petals it has lost. So like now it'll shoot more bullets at me because it's missing one. It'll be more apparent now. You'll see how it's starting to shoot 3 shots at me instead of the just 1. But after it shoots so many shots, it takes a little break where it won't shoot anything at you. So if you were a good shot, this would be the opportune moment to just line up and blast away. But you can see that I'm not the best shot. And if you could line yourself up perfect with it like I did there, you can get a lot of shots in really quickly. A lot of these bosses can be killed extremely fast if you can follow their patterns, if you're a good pilot. Another trick that I've learned for this game is I don't hold the controller for this game like I normally do. Like, I don't have the controller in my hands, I actually have it sitting in my lap, and I'm pushing the attack button with my index finger, and I'm using the joystick with the other, but I'm not holding the joystick, it's actually sitting on my lap. And I'm pushing downwards on the button, because you really only need the one button. This boss is a lot like the boss in Stage 2, the red guy. He's just going to crisscross back and forth, but when he gets to the top, he disappears. When he gets to the bottom, he disappears. and otherwise he just zigs back and forth. So again, if you would go opposite his pattern, then you could hit him more frequently, but I prefer to go in the circle method. Again, I want to take the safe strat. I have plenty of lives, so it's not such a big deal, but the final boss can be a bit annoying. He's not difficult by any means, it's just tedious, and I would prefer to just play it safe and get the video made. So when in doubt, this circle pattern is always fantastic. Even if you have to make little circles, you know, like if you don't have much room to move at all, even a little circle will help you. I pretty much suggest, if you're going to play this game, to just do this circle pattern non-stop. The biggest trick is just sort of getting a feel for how wide the track is and how far or how big of a circle you can make. At first, you may make circles that are too large or too small. You'll get a little overwhelmed, but with a few hours practice, if even that, you'll master it pretty well. Normally, there we go. I was gonna say, normally I have a little bit better luck. That was a pretty shitty fight. This boss is invulnerable until he starts to move in a worm pattern, like that. So the best strategy you can use here is you can just time it out, and I'm a little off time because I'm talking, but you can time it out and shoot right when he moves, and then you can get a bunch of shots in like that. And he seems to only attack when he moves away from you, not when he moves towards you, so that's another good opportunity to get a lot of shots in. But each one of his little units will fire at you. Like so. So otherwise, extremely easy boss, a fairly easy boss. All of the bosses are easy. This is a pretty easy game. It's a good casual game. Oh, see, I mistimed that one. I believe the direction that he moves is a bit random, but you can sort of time when he's going to move, and you can usually get the shot off, or where he's actually moved out of range. This is the final boss, I believe. This is the final boss. And it's an upgraded version of the boss that we fought in Stage 1. And you'll notice that we didn't fight the Stage 1 boss. And I guess it's an okay thing. It's really easy, the Stage 1 boss. Just shoot it. It's pretty much just this, except you don't have to charge your shots. You can just shoot away. He fires less bullets at you. Charging your shot's not really required for that final boss either. 448 something is as fast as you can go. I think that's a weird number that you can go. And I didn't point it out, but every ship upgrade has a different HUD at the top. And not only that, when you get low on life, there's a warning signal that you get. And every ship has a unique low life warning as well. So while the game might not look great, it was a real impressive use of Mode 7. It was a really early game, so this was like one of the very first things that any of us had ever seen about the Super Nintendo. And it has a lot of neat little features, and it's made by a quality company that would later go on to make Kirby, or they probably already had made Kirby. I don't think they had made Kirby at this point yet. This is the final boss, and like I was saying in another level, the stages in the game were inspired by the ending sequence to 2001: Space Odyssey. And we're going to get a close-up look eventually, but you can see that this is a weird, naked, big-brained alien fetus floating in space. So if you've seen a 2001: Space Odyssey, you understand. Otherwise, I don't know what to tell you. Why is it a big, naked, like, why is anything in this game the way that it is? I don't really know. The rough story, as I've already told, is we need to traverse the asteroid belt, going asteroid to asteroid, killing all of the mutants that live there. So each stage has been a different asteroid, but I don't know what the HyperZone is. I don't know why. I don't know. None of that matters. This was one of those games that was about the actual gameplay and not about any particular story. I feel like the story was made up for the instruction booklet, not the game itself. The bad thing about this boss is that he takes a lot of shots. Okay, there we go. We'll get a good shot. See? It's a weird, like, big-brained alien fetus in an egg or a spaceship or possibly a glowing ball. Looks like a spaceship or a cracked open egg to me. I think it's a spaceship. Like, I kind of think that, well, I guess that's me in the way. See, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe it's an egg. No idea. I'm not sure why he sits in the middle of the screen like this. It's just a thing he does. I'm going to continue to move in a circle because screw it. And we're going to count how many charged up shots it takes to kill him in his second form. 1, I think it's going to take like 75. 2, 3, 4, 5. So you just do this for a while. 6. And it seems like it never ends. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. Having fun yet? 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. Oh, we did it. Cool. Nice. The more exact shot you are, the more damage it does. So that was good. It's final area clear. You guys ready to see the end of HyperZone? Don't let this video fool you. This is a good game. I would have loved to have owned this game as a child. A fun game. C1, CO4, CO8, 10. You'll notice 10 is down there. Box, board Y. 10, I believe, was an enemy from stage 3 that was moved to stage 1. Hence the name 10 to match with the numbers. I think Zunko on top left is cool. Hidorama there, top right's awesome looking. Xander's kind of gross to me. Ton, top left is cool looking. Chin, Can, Board R, S-Ball, Egger. Egger is another NES game made by HAL. That's another reference. I like that background board, by the way. Momoki, Nahado, Musha, Huki, Nyack. Nyack is ugly, but I think it's a cool looking graphic because it really does make me feel like it's a big ball of like barnacles or something. Tetra, UFO, Jack, Rargarji, whatever, he's cool looking. Midorama, he kind of looks like the aliens from Independence Day. Welcome to Earth. Dustbox, Cannon, Tank. See, this is a lot of like trash. Pot. Yokoberry doesn't make much sense because it looks like it's sideways when it should be coming at you, but there it is. Board G. Oban, Womacy, super gross by the way. Womacy there. Board W. Pie set's kind of cool. I like eyes. He's got like a big eye. I love googly eyes and stuff, so I'm cool with the brain with the big eyeball in it. Team HyperZone. and then a special background image for beating the game. That's not quite over. HAL was chosen not only, again, 2001 Space Odyssey, but also because the letters H, A, and L are before IBM, so they were one step ahead of IBM. That was the idea. In fact, that's the rumored idea behind the name of HAL in a 2001 Space Odyssey, but nobody's really been able to confirm that. But, you know, again, apparently this company was huge fans. Now, the cool thing about this game is that that is the end. This is the end of the game. But if I hit the start button, the game's going to start over, except this time I get to keep my points, I get to keep my lives, and I get to keep my ship. And this charge shot charges pretty quickly, and it's pretty powerful, so that makes a lot of these stages a little bit easier. They're a little bit more fun. And you can just do this indefinitely to see how many points you can get, how many times you can go around the loop, etc., etc., etc. But, I mean, what a lot of fun with this charge shot, to just clear these guys out. So another possible speedrun category is a second round. And I should stop playing. You guys have already seen stage 1, but it's just so cool to clear all of these guys out with this charge shot. A charge shot that you're not normally allowed to have, because the first time you play the game, your ship can't charge its weapon. And you can just do this. You can just do this indefinitely. Oh, I missed them. You're lucky, boards. You get away from me this time. I think it's over here. Yeah. And with some practice, you kind of start to memorize where the enemies are going to spawn, and that would really help improve your score as well. It would be a fun game to master. That's why I would have liked to have owned it as a kid. You wouldn't have had to have sat down for any real period of time. You know, just slowly, the more you played it, day after day, week after week, month after month, you know. 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. By the time the N64 came out, I would have been quite good at this game. And that's it, that's the boss. So, okay, I'm gonna, well, we'll kill the boss, to hell with it. Seems a shame to come this far and to not kill the boss. Boom, done. Okay, so that's it. That's HyperZone, everybody. I hope you enjoyed watching. I love this game. Don't let the short videos fool you or make it seem like it's simple. It's a fantastic game. All in all, I think everything about it is just average, so I would give it like a 5. But it was an early release title, and the 5 seems like an unfair score, because while I think I gave Dennis the Menace a higher score, we'll go off the map and just sort of blow up here, show you what's up. Dennis the Menace had like better music or like better graphics or whatever. So while this might not be as well a made game, you'll have a hell of a lot more fun playing this game than you will Dennis the Menace. So I definitely suggest you check it out. It's a great game. And until next time, everybody, I hope you enjoyed watching. This is HyperZone. Good night.